Hey there, my fellow Prog Noggins. I am Dave. This is Bleeding Edge. Thank you for joining me. So, I'd like to do different little things with the channel, and I'm trying to be a little bit more experimental, broaden my horizons in 2026, mostly to take the place of the album reviews I won't be doing anymore. In the past, I have done song reactions, and I plan to maybe do some of those again in the future as well, as much as I can keep up. But one of the fun little things I do that I've not brought to the channel before is it's just like a little ritual I do every Friday night or Saturday, somewhere thereabouts sometimes, somewhere around the weekend. And every week, our friends at Prog Magazine have an article, a feature called Prog Tracks of the Week. And it's great new prog music that they are showcasing, usually 6, I think typically 7 songs from different artists, some of them well-known, some of them very obscure, maybe only known to the most astute of the progosphere elite. Not always me, but anyway. And one of the things I would do, of course, is probably like a lot of you do, is I go through and listen to all the songs, decide which one I like best, and vote for it at the end. And I figured I would share that process with you folks a little bit, see what you think of it. It's a fun little thing to do, and it's a good way to get introduced to new music. And then I figure when I get around to voting myself on the one that I like best, then I'm going to give it a full song reaction. And when I say full song reaction, you might be saying, Dave, aren't you reacting to all of them? Not entirely. I'm giving myself a minute to a minute and a half for each of them to make a decision what I like best. I might skip ahead a little bit here and there if the song has an exceptionally long intro and I want to get an idea of what it sounds like later on in the song to make my decision. But yeah, it's actually very much what I normally do on a Friday or a Saturday anyway. I listen to them maybe all the way through, maybe not, kind of depends on how I feel. But for the sake of creating a reasonable video length, minimizing my battles for copyright claim, and not make you folks wait forever for me to make a decision, I figured I will keep it short. And each song will get a little bit of time, but I won't listen to all of them all the way through. I will only listen to the winner all the way through, and we'll give it a full reaction at that point in time. So hopefully this sounds like fun. Thanks for joining me. Let's check this out, see what happens. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up so far on this week's edition of the Prog Tracks of the Week. And we're going to start off. They had to put their little window up there. They want me to subscribe. Maybe I should do that. So the first song this week, I talk for a living. I literally do. The first song this week, Green Carnation's Sanguis, which is a word meaning blood ties. I've seen it in various places. I don't know if it's Latin. It probably is Latin in origin. Doesn't matter. So anyway, a lot of folks will know. If you're here, you are aware that Green Carnation put out one of the hottest albums last year. That was A Dark Poem Part 1. They, of course, are planning a trilogy for this, so we now have A Dark Poem Part 2, not too far away from the first one. And I know the first one had a longer title, but they didn't put, oh, there it is, The Shores of Melancholia. If I read further, I'll see it. Part 2 is entitled Sanguis, and this would be the song Sanguis. And at least I see here briefly, the song paints a pretty grim picture of my childhood, according to bassist Stein Roger Sordal. So, that sounds not exactly like a happy song, but let's check out what it is. Get to give this a listen. So Green Carnation, Sanguis, Blood Ties. Buckle up. Had me questioning myself for a moment there. I thought I didn't have the volume up. Okay, we are off to a good start, actually. I dig that. Some nice chugging guitars. We got some flavors like reminiscent of 70s metal, Rainbow, and early Judas Priest, although I don't think Priest had any keyboards in it. Rainbow, Deep Purple definitely had some keys going on there. So nice, cool, classic sound, straight ahead rhythms and beats and things like that, smooth vocals. I would not have pictured him looking like that. Actually, he put a pink beard on him and looks like my buddy Brad. But anyway, so that is off to a good start. I do dig that. I like that. And it's a good follow up. It's a good, solid follow up from the last album. So this album is certainly reasonable to expect is going to flow very much in a similar vein, being part of a trilogy, coming so far, so soon off the heels of the last one. So there we go. Solid. All right. Next, we have Magenta. I know the band name, and I know them a little bit. I was not aware they were Welsh. So the 25th anniversary. The new single is The Lovers. First new music in 6 years. And brand new album, Tarot. That is going to be out on Tiger Moth Records in April 10th to be specific. So interesting. They're going to look back at the blueprint when they started Magenta in 2001. Big fan of Renaissance. So that tells me a little bit there what we can expect here. Probably a fairly classic prog sound, retro sound, however you want to say it these days. Dig the thumbnail. That's pretty cool there. Very classic mythology or fantasy type of style. So let's check it out. Magenta, The Lovers. Oh yeah, that's very reminiscent of Renaissance.
Come with me, follow, and I will show you secret ways. In darkness, a new light, sunshine to chase fear away. Fear away, fear away. I will follow you. I'll pay the price to be with you. Follow you. There with you always to give you my love, everything guiding me to you. Every day feeling the search for love, season of wonder. You try to show me where is love God has forbidden. Where is the love from the heart free to give? Our lives merely frozen in time. In time. Come with me, follow, and I will show you secret ways.
Okay, when we talk about classic Renaissance sound, that really is very, very reminiscent of that. Very 70s, very folk inspired with a bit of classical inspired prog music from back in the day. From the vocals, from the production, from the instrumentation, everything just very much. It seems to me like it could have been a lost Renaissance song. Very cool. Interesting. In the credits at the beginning there, they mentioned Chris Fry. And I'm like, I grew up the street from a guy named Chris Fry. I'm almost about 100% certain that's not him. But it's the first time I've seen that name associated with music. I'll have to look that up at some point in time. But I dig it. It's retro. Now, if you know me, if you've been around me a bit, I do lean much more towards more modern, more avant-garde. I have an appreciation for some retro sounds, but it's usually not my favorite. But I will say, at least as far as things go, that's a good solid example of that. I like it. We'll see where it goes. I think Green Carnation remains in the lead, though. So let's see where we go from here. A. Williams, Wolves is the song. I am not familiar with her. It's her second single from the new label, which is the same label as Opeth. So one would like to think that she is pretty high quality in what she does. It describes it here as haunting, dark, and atmospheric. And let's see. She is touring the UK and Europe for the remainder of this month, but I want to see what it is. Apparently, it's the idea of the blurred lines between dreams and reality. Let's check it out. So, A. Williams, Wolves.
lost in a dream again. I remind myself that I have only left the tiniest mark on your heart, a shadow where there shouldn't be. And I can't let you go all over again, 'cause I am just not strong enough. In your gaze, I've become tethered to.
Okay, I dig that. That's pretty cool. It's a bit straightforward in its composition, music, arrangement. There's the word I'm looking for. Musically, it's not overly complex. It's simple rhythms, simple chord progression, and I like her voice. She's got a nice voice. It fits more in the range of female vocals that are more to my preference than the last one. But I like it, and I enjoy it. It definitely is moody. I think that's where it fits in nicely, and we'll see where that goes. But it's definitely interesting, and I like the harder edge part to the chorus, and then back to the very moody, atmospheric, mysterious verse. So far, so good. Pretty strong week so far, I got to say. There's nothing that I've heard that I've immediately went, oh, what the heck? Because that's been known to happen on occasion. Something hits in there, and I'm like, guys, what is this? People are listening to this? Does not happen often, though. So we'll see what happens. So next we have Exploring Birdsong with the song 42. They are described as a prog. I'm going to say prog pop because pop prog is a weird way of saying it. But either way, they're a poppy prog trio. I've not heard of them before. I'm not familiar with them at all. They get some headline dates in September, so that's not a bad thing to have if you're a band touring and you're in London. You know, it's good to be the headliner. The song is apparently about paranoia, conspiracy theories, confirmation bias. I was actually wondering if perhaps it was a song about the meaning of life, but apparently it's not. So let's see. Anything else we got in there? Drawn from personal experience in childhood. So we got a lot of people dipping into their childhood for inspiration on this week as well. All right, so let's check out Exploring Birdsong with 42.
Stop, look behind your back. It stops you in your tracks. I know you've seen this thing before. There can't be a mistake. I said it wasn't fake. I think I'm gonna break. Despise the look that's in your eyes. It isn't a surprise that you were telling lies like everyone. 'Cause you don't understand. You don't know what they have planned. It's all been in their hands. Dead or alive, someone's after you. They've left another clue. Don't ask me who. Beginning or the end, the angels always send my number, friend. The story's taking shape. I know this is my fate. It's all for me. I hate to say I told you so. I'm getting deja vu. The number 42 is nothing new. I know that you still.
That's rather cool. That's unexpected. As a child of the 80s, I can dig a bit of synth and a bit of a pop orientation to things and a good hook. And I really enjoy the chorus when the bass and the guitar really kick in heavy. It's a nice juxtaposition between the lighter synths and the more pop orientation, and then this really heavy bottom that comes in to support the chorus. And it's got a really cool hook, immediately pulls you in. Great vocals. That's a sweet spot for female vocals for me. So that's 3 in a row. Wait, these are prog tracks? All these females? Cool. I dig it. I like it. So that's a fun little thing, and that fits in nicely with some other stuff I've heard in recent years that I definitely would call progressive type pop or popish type progression, prog rock, whatever you want to say. So far, man, it is a strong week. Picking a winner in all this is going to be a challenge, I think, so far. If the rest of the songs are as strong as this, it's going to be really difficult. All right, moving on. Chris Braid and Dean Johnson. Now, Chris Braid, you're familiar, the Downs Braid Association, his project he does with Jeff Downs of Asia and Sometimes Yes. He does have a great voice. I'm not familiar with Dean Johnson, who apparently is a Liverpudlian. And they are revisiting material they penned in the early 2000s with their 2005 album, The Upside. Interesting. So they're digging deep into their songwriting history and pulling up some new stuff out of it more than 20 or plus years later. I kind of enjoy that. So let's see. It's kind of things going on. And they wrote their first songs together before the turn of the century. I'm always used to associate that with the 1800s and the 1900s because I'm old. And that's sometimes weird to say it when I'm referring to the 90s now. So let's check it out. I expect this will be nice, smooth, melodic, probably fairly keyboard oriented. We'll see, but maybe not. I guess that's a silly thing to say because as far as the Downs Braid Association, the keyboardist is Downs. He's not part of this. So I could be very wrong. Let's check it out. By the way, Wild Honey Hair, or no, Wild, yeah. I can't read.
You were worth your weight in gold. He told you so. You waited till his love got cold. He let you go. Read the letter in your hand, but you couldn't understand. So you slept in a ball out in the whole night. And wild honey hair framed the face of that girl when there was no place in the world that she could go. And wild honey hair framed the face of that girl when there was no place in the world that she could go.
Yeah, that is good and solid, and definitely smooth, melodic, as I guessed, but not heavy on keyboards, which makes sense. Jeff Downs is not part of this. More guitar-oriented, but it's very smooth. It's not heavy guitar. It's blended nicely with some background keys, and the backing vocals are very nice as well. It's, what's not to like? It's a nice, solid, melodic tune, and I like that. And it's kind of what I could expect, knowing what I know of the Downs Braid Association. It fits very much right in there. And Chris Braid really does have a really great voice. I really enjoy his range there. It's not too far one way or the other. He's got a nice groove he fits in there, but it fits the melodies perfectly. So, all right. Yeah, it is a strong week. All right, next we've got, I'm going to pronounce this Hex. Sure. The future is here. These are apparently young UK prog rockers. So that's nice. Always good to know that the next generation is going to carry on the torch. And it's going to be from their upcoming 5th album. I'm going to pronounce that Kisma. The QI is not usually something you see together without a U in the middle. But that's what I'm going with. Kisma, out April 3rd. So that's very soon. And Kisma means fate, destiny, or divine will in Arabic. So I feel confident about my pronunciation being correct. Also, some guest contribution, Adam Holzman, John Mitchell, some of these other people on the album. That's very cool. So these guys got some drawing power. They're pulling in some of the top-notch folks that you're going to see in a lot of prog albums as studio musicians or touring musicians. Very solid stuff. All right. So I'm going to have to be expecting to be impressed by the young lads or lasses of Hex. The future is here. Digging the funky groove.
Amongst the circuits, beneath the neon skies, the citizens of Kybergrad live out their hollow lives. Beneath the gleaming surface, a darker current runs. A wicked master pulls the strings and a wicked fate is spun. The overlord who's so adored, he keeps the city safe. He's eloquent, benevolent, and only asks for faith. If you believe, you will receive, and all will fall in line. He'll keep you numb, and he'll keep you dumb, and you'll thank him every time. No need to panic. No need to fear. No need to worry. The future's here. Automations completing every task.
Wow. Strong week. Yeah, I'm digging that. That's unexpected. I wasn't expecting that or that voice to come out of a young band. I expected a little bit of a higher register, but very cool nonetheless. How to describe? It starts off with a little bit of a funky kind of intro to it, a bit of funky groove. Then it gets a little theatrical, almost show tune-ish in a way, I guess is the best way I can think to describe it right now. I haven't described any of the singers, front people, because one, I haven't seen any of them, but I can't think of using this kind of description in a while. But wow, he's got some charisma. He has got an exceedingly expressive face. He's got a theatricality to him. He's got just something that grabs your attention and holds on. So, I mean, they got themselves a solid frontman right there based on that performance. So I'm kind of impressed, and I dig the song. It is very interesting. It very much is attention grabbing. It has a bit of fun to it. It has a bit of theatricality to it. Man, this is some tough choices this week. They look, for a band described as young, they look slightly older than I expected. Some of them. Anyway. So not bad. That was Hex, right? Yeah, Hex. Already forgetting who I'm looking at. All right. I believe, let's check ahead. This is our last one, Echo Verse, Radical Rebirth. Now, these guys are the rare animal, a fairly rare animal outside of Neil Morse land of the Christian-oriented progressive rock band. The only one I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't have Neil in it in some way, shape, or form. They're not that they're that rare. It's just that without Neil, they're rare. Anyway, so the last album apparently was 2024, Whispers Between Worlds. The new album is Fall Towards the Sky. And this is the song Radical Rebirth. So Christian spirituality, modern progressive and hard rock influences. All right, they're describing it as heavier, sharper, and at the same time more hopeful. So that's a nice juggling act right there. So let's check this out and see what we got. Echo Verse, Radical Rebirth. right, I did let that one run a little longer than the other ones, mostly because of the idea that I was trying to uh, give it enough time. It had a longer intro, but it wasn't a terribly long song. Surprisingly long intro for a song that's just a tick or so under 6 minutes. Yeah, you know what? It's funny because in many ways I would say if you were to throw this in the middle of a bunch of Neil Morris Band, Cosmic Cathedral songs, whatever, all that stuff, I may not necessarily pick up that it wasn't Neil Morris. Voice is a little deeper, I think, a little grittier than Neil's is typically, but in a similar range. Musically, fairly similar, straight ahead, progressive rock, more in a traditional sense, but more in modern tones. Little moments there reminded me of Yes, a tiny bit mixed in there, but more of a hard rock type approach, straight ahead rock type approach, however you want to say it. So pretty cool stuff there. Man, they did, it's a good, solid set of songs. I don't remember the last time that Prog put out 7 songs that were all this close for me. All right, so I got to choose here. What am I going to go with? Now, we've got good, solid stuff. Green Carnation following up a really banger of an album with Sanguis, Blood Ties. Straight ahead, it's got flavors of 70s proto-metal, early metal, with Rainbow comes to mind with the keyboards, the organ-sounding keyboards. We got Magenta, The Lovers, Renaissance kind of throwback thing. We've got 42 from Exploring Birds song, a definite kind of 80s pop flavor to it with a real heavy kind of chorus and some other things mixed in there that are more modern. And that keeps it from sounding like it's trying too hard to sound like the 80s. Good, solid stuff from Chris Braid and Dean Johnson and Hex with their very intriguing, very interesting and theatrical type of song there. And then finally Echo Verse. So I got to pick one that I am going to listen to all the way through. And I think what I'm going to go with is... I'm having trouble. I'm stuck between two because I'm feeling the avant-garde here. I think I'm going to go with Exploring Bird song. That is pretty much close. Interestingly, Hex is a lot lower than a lot of other people. Green Carnation wins. No, they're not in order. What's going on? So Hex is actually the one that won there. I thought they usually put them and stacked them in order. They're throwing me off. So I'm not that far off, I guess. Actually, no, I picked the second to bottom, Exploring Bird song. Well, yeah, that's me. I'm usually contrary to everything, or almost second to bottom. Hex obviously is running away with it. A lot of people clearly intrigued by the theatricality. I will have to check that one out at some point in time as well, too. I very much want to see that. And it was, for me, really came down to between them and Exploring Bird song were the two that really, I think, intrigued me the most this weekend. So I had to get back to them. It could have gone either way. I basically flipped a coin in my head, and I could have been with the crowd or I could have gone against the crowd. As usual, I go against the crowd. It always seems to be what I'm doing. But it's an interesting mix. I am surprised that Green Carnation ranks as low with all of this as it does. Does it say how many people voted? I don't think it does. So, all right. That's how it is. Let's go back, and we are going to now restart Exploring Bird song. We're going to take it back to the beginning and give that a start. I'm curious. Jump in the comments now. Do you think I'm nuts for picking this one? What was your pick? What of the 7 did you think sounded the best to you and you wanted to hear more of? How far off am I? And I'll be curious to hear what the rest of you think. How did you vote? Did you vote? If you didn't, head to Prog Magazine's thing there and check out their Prog Tracks of the Week and vote. Put your 2 cents into the bucket. All right, starting over again here.
Stop, look behind your back. It stops you in your tracks. I know you've seen.
See, I gotta say, I dig the way the intro starts off with the keyboards in there. Is there arpeggios? No, more of a bit of a loop there or whatever, but the very heavy bass. And then they go to the first verse. It's just the voice and the drums and that bass. I dig the way they do that. And it does very much put me in mind of some 80s music I can think of, although I probably couldn't pull out any titles out of my head right now.
Look behind your back.
I would also throw in, it's to my ear at the moment. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Her vocal style of singing, the way she enunciates and the way she phrases, very much could put me in mind of stuff like 80s Madonna and Human League or whatever, and things like that. There's something definitely similar there. I don't know if that is intentional or just coincidental. There's some influences there from the 80s that are coming through in her phrasing and her vocal style, but um, wasn't a big fan of that stuff then, but there's a little bit of a nostalgia button for me.
I think I'm gonna break. Despise the look that's in your eyes. It isn't a surprise that you were telling lies like everyone. 'Cause you don't understand. You don't know what they have planned. It's all been in their hands. Dead or alive. Someone's after you. They've left another clue. Don't ask me who. Beginning of the end, the angels always send my number, friend. The story's taking shape. I know this is my fate. It's all for me. I hate to say I told you so. I'm getting deja vu. The number 42 is nothing new. I know that you still disagree. Well, I'm sorry your eyes refuse to see that all your pleading is in vain. 'Cause you aren't able to explain.
And that's interesting there as they pull out, pardon me, more modern stylings there with the way the voice is processed and the kind of R&B flavor musical notes in there as well. It's a nice change of pace after all the bombacity of the chorus. And I don't know if that's a bridge, if that's meant to be the second verse, but let's give it a listen again. And then I don't know how to describe that style of drums, that style of percussion that is so common in the R&B music these days, or has been for a while. Really, I'm not sure because I don't follow R&B that much to know. But they're mining similar territory and blending that in as Sleep Token. So it's more of that R&B flavors and stylings and flourishes blending into more progressive styled stuff. Now, this is probably less progressive in some ways than Sleep Token, or maybe equally so. Depends on how you want to look at it, really. But it's a nice change of pace within the song, and I like that you get all the different variations within a song. That's the part of progressive rock that I've always enjoyed.
Explain the start that came and went, the middle that was sense. Try to tell me you know what it meant. The story's getting old, show's been oversold. The ending was foretold. Someone's after you. They've left another clue. Don't ask me who. Beginning of the end, the angels always send my number, friend. The story's taking shape. I know this is my fate. It's all for me. I hate to say I told you so. I'm getting deja vu. The number 42 is nothing new.
I gotta say, I really like that chorus. Actually, I think it's very catchy. It's very hooky. I like the lyricism in it. It's very well crafted. I would say, it's giving the way that the lyrics are written and all that, the phrasing, it all just flows so nicely. And then that heavy bass and the heavy extra guitar in there is a really nice added bit of flourish to all of it. So I like what they're doing there. I rather enjoy that, and it really kind of makes the song for me a little bit. It's a good solid pop song in that sense. That's when they call it prog pop, they're not kidding. So all right, let's continue.
like it has to be. Dead or alive. Beginning or the end, the angels always send my number friend. The story's taking shape. I know this is my fate. It's all for me. I hate to say I told you so. I'm getting deja vu. The number 42 is nothing new. Story's taking shape. I know this is my fate. The number 42 is nothing new.
Cute. All right. So pretty cool stuff right there. I gotta say, I rather enjoy that. It's a catchy song. How progressive is it off the top of my head? I'm not sure. From the song itself, I don't know. There's some nice arrangement going on in there. It's not overly complex, but it is nicely layered. The instrumentation, as far as musical playing ability on display, doesn't seem to be the biggest thing I've ever seen or heard, but I don't need it to be for that kind of song. It doesn't need to be top notch. We don't need Dream Theater playing on it. I'm sure they would kill it, but we don't need that level playing for a song like that. But I do enjoy it, and I'm curious now about the rest of the album because I sense a little bit there that this is not a standalone song. There's a conceptual bent to the album. So I will have to investigate this further. I'm very curious where we'll go from here. Also going to investigate Hex, as I mentioned. And of course, everybody's going to check out Green Carnation and stuff like that. Like a lot of the stuff on here is really good. It's going to be, I can't add everything to the Expanse. By the way, my Live 365 All-Prog station. Go check it out sometime. I can't add everything. I can't add every song. I can't be that guy. I will have to limit it a little bit, but man, they've given me a lot of good options this week. There's a lot of good stuff coming out all of a sudden, and I like that. So there's my choice. Exploring Birdsong 42, top 1. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think of the song? What do you think of my choice? Who would you have chosen instead? Would you have chosen any of these? Do you like any of them? You probably have to like at least one of them. Meanwhile, give me some feedback on this little feature. This could be a new thing I will do if you think it's fun, if you think it's enjoyable. Do you have feedback for how it could be improved, how it could be changed? I'm open to that as well because this is being experimental. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I'm also thanking God for the mute button on the microphone, as somewhere along the line my throat got a tickle in it and I needed to cough. And you didn't need to listen to me doing that. So, it's the little things in life for which we can be grateful. So in the meantime, tell me your thoughts. Take a moment. If you enjoyed this, hit the like. That'll give me a little bit of feedback as well to let me know how much you folks enjoyed this. And going on from there, all I can say is hang loose, never fear to deviate from the norm, and as always, keep it proggy.